What does Stoicism really mean? Here's a fundamental, very basic understanding of Stoicism. Stoicism boils down to being able to differentiate between what's within your control and what's outside your control. Any given moment, you have to be able to distinguish what's within my control in the situation and what's outside my control in the situation. Because once you can make that distinction, then you can decide, hey, I should act on what is within my control and I should waste no energy, no time on what is outside my control. That is the most basic fundamental understanding of Stoicism. In the book Discourses, Epictetus has some really powerful quotes, one of which says, when I see an anxious person, I ask myself, what do they want? For if a person wasn't wanting something outside of their own control, why would they be stricken by anxiety? So anxiety really boils down to you wanting something outside of your own control. As long as you focus on things that are within your control, there's nothing to be anxious about. You really carry a very high level of self-esteem when you're only focused on things that are within your control, because you know you can act on them. When you focus on things that are outside your control, you know you cannot act on them. So you end up wasting a lot of energy and you end up having a lot lower self-esteem as a result of it. Now, here's another powerful quote by Epictetus. He says, the chief task in life is simply this, to identify and separate matters so that I can say clearly to myself which are externals, not under my control, and which have to do with the choices I actually control. Where then do I look for good and evil? Not to uncontrollable externals, but within myself to the choices that are my own. So what's he saying? I have to look for good and evil within myself and to the choices that are my own. You might want to rewind this and actually listen to this really powerful quote again and again, or watch this powerful quote again and again, because it'll give you real depth and perspective on what Stoicism is really all about. Differentiating between what's within your control, what's outside your control, and acting on what is within your control and letting go of what's outside your control. Consistently being able to do that. Because a person with low self-esteem constantly worries about the conditions outside and about all the things that are outside their current control, and feels like a victim to other people, feels like a victim to the outside world, feels like a victim to the circumstances around them. While a person with high self-esteem obsesses about what is precisely within their control, what they can act upon, and what they can do. That is the biggest difference between a person with low self-esteem and a person with high self-esteem. So here's a really simple exercise based on Stoicism. In every difficult situation you face, ask yourself, what's outside my control and what's within my control? And once you identify what's within your control, ask yourself, what specific action can I take on what's within my control in order to improve my situation, in order to improve this current situation that I'm in. And you will always find answers that will help you move your life forward. And on the other hand, if you have low self-esteem and you're only focused on what's outside your control, the circumstances and the people, then you will consistently not be able to find answers and not be able to make progress. So really powerful exercise. In every difficult situation, you have to ask yourself what's within your control, what's outside your control, and then ask yourself what actions you can take.